That is probably the most famous flute solo in history. But that's not what makes it interesting. What makes it interesting is that the moment that Debussy wrote that, he basically tore up the whole rulebook of Western classical music. And most people, even flute players, don't really know why.
This is the opening of Prélude à l'après-midi d'une faune by Claude Debussy. Notice how it doesn't feel like a piece starting. There is no clear beat to tap your foot to, no obvious key. It doesn't announce itself. It almost feels like the music is improvising on the spot. It just materializes.
To understand why, you need to know what it is about. The piece is based on a poem by Stéphane Mallarmé.
It's about a faun, a mythological half-man, half-goat, waking up from a heavy afternoon nap and trying to figure out if the nymphs he just saw were real, or if he dreamed the whole thing.
Yes, that's not this piece, that's Debussy's Syrinx, but the thing is that it's based on the same thing. It's also speaking about a faun somehow. I hope also you could hear in that pianissimo before the birds from outside. Quite a good thing from spring. Very metaphoric and poetic as well. But anyway, Debussy is not writing a music score here. He's not writing even a film score. He's not giving us everything, clearly. There is no narrative. Debussy is literally putting you inside the faun's half-awake brain. So again, some birds from spring. But also another question, why starting with a flute? The answer is quite simple, because the faun is the flute in mythology. He was playing the flute.
Think of Pan and his panpipes. Debussy ignores the entire orchestra sitting right there on stage and zooms straight into the character. It's not really a solo. It's a psychological close-up.
By the way, I always thought the same thing. For me, this is really a musical yawn. I mean, if you listen closely, this really sounds like a yawn. Okay, we have some more notes in the middle. But it really sounds like, oh, like, really. Okay, it's a very sophisticated French yawn. We admit that. And yes, it might be the most beautiful musical yawn ever written.
But it actually makes perfect sense. The whole piece lives in that strange space between dream and reality. So instead of an energetic beginning, Debussy gives us an exhale. It does not begin, it wakes up.
But underneath this yawn, there is something incredibly subversive. Technically speaking, the piece starts with a tritone. Okay, we have again this note. But that's a gesture. Those two notes, C sharp and G natural.
For centuries, composers avoided this interval like the plague. They literally called it
the devil in music.
And Debussy just casually opens his masterpiece with that interval, as if it's normal. And the best part, he doesn't resolve it. He just lets it hang there in the air. And not only that, but you will find much other things in the piece which basically are based on that tritone. Like for instance, this whole tone scale just is making the tritone full. But then you hear, we hear this intermission in the clarinet, for instance, later. But it's just making that interval full. At the time, late 19th century music, especially after Richard Wagner, it was all about huge drama, big structures, big resolutions with big time also and duration of the pieces, big structures, big development. But then comes Debussy and ignores that. Of course, he always was admiring this kind of music, but he was building the story using the color. He trades structure for color, sharp lines for blurred edges. You are not following a story. You are floating inside a sensation. Well, that's the Impressionism.
When it was premiered in Paris in 1894 at the Société Nationale de Musique, audiences were fascinated, but also a bit lost. Actually, they asked the conductor to repeat the piece twice. It sounded completely new, almost alien. In fact, also there were some critics that said that this music was amazing to compose, but had no sense to listen. Today, many historians point to this exact moment as the birth of modern music. Without this, the entire 20th century sounds really different.
Now, from the flutist and performer perspective, this piece is not easy. Maybe it could sound like easy because it's not very virtuosistic, but believe me, it's not. Imagine what could happen if you have 1 week that sometimes, unfortunately, this happens, a picky conductor. Would be something like this.
It's beautiful, but it's too rushed. A little bit more calm, please.
Okay.
Now it's too slow and too measured. A little bit more free, please. Perfect, like this, thanks. And now, don't breathe. The phrase is not ending. Until the end, please. Keep going, don't breath.
Okay, so I need to practice it with circular breathing for tomorrow. Jokes apart, this solo is very demanding, but it's not flashy virtuosity, it's not fast, it's just that it demands insane breath control. Of course, I really hope always I will play that, and I played that always with very friendly conductors who were not asking me to do circular breathing or insane, super long phrases. But, and I really hope not to have to do that with these techniques. Because, of course, I also think it's much more natural to just breathe and to make the music flow with this kind of natural breathing. Unless we think also that the faun not only was dreaming, but he was also immortal and could be possible for him not to breathe like for 3 minutes. But I think that's not the case. Okay, but important thing here, this solo, it's really complicated also because of these awkward intervals, and it's only you and your sound alone in the big stage, and you are opening the piece. So it's really a challenge, but also it's really motivating, and when we have to play that, it's the big moment for the flute, and we are really happy and thankful for Debussy for having brought that. Or well, it depends, maybe some other days we are not so thankful and So next time you hear this, don't hear just a beautiful melody, hear a creature who is half asleep, half dreaming, and who ignores all the rules of classical music and changes everything in the process. And if you're a flute player and you want the full breakdown of how to play this without actually passing out, you can find that over my Patreon. So feel free and feel welcome to go over there, because of course there is much more to say than I said in this video over that, technically speaking. So you will find it there. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you are interested in this kind of content. It always helps. We are always saying the same things, but you all know that it helps. And leave what you think in the comment section. I'm always really curious to listen to you and to answer to all of you if I have the time. So thanks a lot and see you next time.